Hi everyone! Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. Today I am taking part in the Peartree Cutfiles first birthday celebration hop. I'm using the sunshine background, which you could see off to the left there, and I have already backed it. I only used half of the cut file. I cut it on a diagonal, and I'm going to use a solid piece of paper on the other half of the page. I backed half of the cut file with mainly scraps. I used a lot of orange and yellow scraps that were in my scrap envelope. And then for the blue background, I used Recollections Ombre Brights. It was a pad that I bought recently in Michael's. And I'm also using a sheet of paper from that same pad for the background, the orange piece that you see there. So I wanted to create a white border all around the edge of the layout and also going along the diagonal between the cut file and the background. The cut file already had a white border around the edge, and in order to create a white strip of paper on the diagonal, I just mounted it on a slightly larger piece of white paper. Here I cut the piece of orange paper to size so that there would be the same size border, or about the same size border, all around the edge of that part of the layout as well. And now I'm using my ATG adhesive and I'm putting a lot of it down so that the cut file will stay put on top of the orange paper. And there is the background of my layout. The photo that I'm using is a photo of my older daughter when we were at the beach in Cape Cod, which is in Massachusetts. And I love the way the sign and the door were a very bright blue, and I thought that blue went really well with the blue that's in the background. I am popping my photo up on some fun foam, so I'm just cutting that to size. And I cut a strip here, but I just cut it a little bit too wide, so then I peeled it back up again, and luckily it came up very easily. A lot of times the fun foam sticks really well and does not come up so easily. So I just cut it a little bit thinner and then just gave it a little bit more adhesive to make sure that it would stay in place. And now I'm using the ATG gun to put some adhesive on the foam. Sometimes that could be a little tricky, but I find that if I go slowly, I usually can get the adhesive to stick to the foam. Now I'm cutting out some photo corners. I use an EK Success scalloped photo corner punch, and I punched out some photo corners from the same paper that I use for some of the suns, that really dark orange, orangey red color. And then I'm just attaching each of those down. And now I'm going to move on to some embellishments. So I went through my summer stash and I looked for things that were the same color blue and orange and yellow. And so I found these little pocket cards and they had blue stripes on them, and also the card that says soak up the sun. And I thought that that went really well with the photo, and it also went well with the colors in the background. So I'm just tearing that little pocket card and giving it a torn edge. I added a sandcastle. I think that's a K&Company sandcastle. I've had that in my stash for a very long time, so I was happy to get that on the layout. And the little sailboat was also from that same sticker set, but the sailboat doesn't make it onto the layout. I'm using some Jolee stickers, some K&Company stickers, and this is another sticker I've had in my stash for a very long time. Maybe you have this sticker too, and I thought it went just perfectly. The starfish sticker I'm talking about on the lower right hand corner of the layout. I thought that worked out really well. And now I have these, I believe these are Echo Park brads, but in the pack of brads there were some cardboard circles, or chipboard circles I guess I should say, and so I used a couple of the blue ones. There were little stars on one of the K&Company sticker sheets. They had little smiley faces on them, so I used 2 of those. I also have these buttons that are a tropical flower, and of course, this is not a tropical place, but they were the right color and they were summer themed, so I thought I would use a couple of those. I wanted to put something underneath the title, and I also wanted to add some of the blue that is in the cut file to this side of the layout. So I used this little strip of paper. At first I tore it, and then I decided that I had enough torn edges, and I just made it a straight strip of paper. I decided to add some watered down white acrylic paint splatters, so I'm doing that now. And I splatter a little bit, but then I also go in and make some of the dots because I didn't want the splatters to go everywhere, but I did want them to go in certain spots, so I'm just putting them in one dot at a time. Looking at the layout right now, I'm thinking that this sunshine background, which is the name of the Peartree cut file that I'm using, I think that it looks great as a cut file, but I was thinking I'm going to cut another one and use it as a stencil. I feel like I could make some pretty cool backgrounds with this as a stencil. I'm adding some pearls. These are self-adhesive pearls to the photo corners. I do go back in again later on and I switch those pearls for some slightly smaller pearls. And right now I'm using some of those small pearls in just little touches around the layout. And I am just putting the pearls near the embellishments. I am not spreading them all around the background because I have the white splatters in the background. So here, this is where I'm switching out those pearls. It doesn't make a big difference, but to my eye, they just looked a little bit too big. So I'm going with adding some pearls on these suns, and you could see that I put some titles. One says Sunshine, that's a puffy sticker, and one says Summer Vibes, that's an acrylic piece. And once I have everything attached down, I started to think that I went a little too crazy with the embellishments, that you don't want so many embellishments spread all over the page. So I decided to lift those up, and you can see that I tore one of the pieces of paper a little bit, and that's okay because I'm going to go back in again with some chipboard. Here are some chipboard clouds. So these clouds, I think they're Studio Calico brand, I'm not really sure, but they are off-white. So I started to paint them with acrylic paint, and you could see that I took the paint off with a piece of paper towel, and I thought I'd better put some gesso on first because they do seem like they're laminated, and I didn't want the paint to peel off later on. So I started with some gesso, and I put on a light coat of gesso, and then I'm going to go back in with some white acrylic paint and put a layer of white acrylic paint over the top. And I just didn't want any off-white in the layout. I feel like all of the white is very bright, so I wanted the clouds to look the same. And so I'm able to use these to just add a little bit of something extra to the background, but not make it look too busy, and also be able to cover up that little spot that I had on one of the suns. I use Aleene's clear tacky glue to attach down all of the embellishments on the page, even the stickers. I gave a little bit extra glue too, so make sure that they don't come off later. I popped a little tiny seashell sticker up on some foam, and then I take a paintbrush and some white acrylic paint, and I'm just touching up a few areas of the cut file, and that completes the layout. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please take a look in the description box. There'll be links to all the other participants who are following along with the Peartree Cut Files first birthday celebration hop. And you can also check out all the beautiful cut files that are on their website. I hope that if you like this video, you'll give it a thumbs up. That really helps out my channel. Have a great day, and I hope to see everybody again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.